Many people ask me, but Elizabeth, if I'm sovereign, I should be able to be, do, and have anything I want. Don't I have a sovereign choice over my life? I want to turn water into wine, so why then isn't it manifesting for me? I must be riddled with blockages and limiting beliefs and unhealed childhood wounds. Why isn't it manifesting? Let's chat. It is incredibly frustrating when, in the early days of our awakening and our conscious manifesting journey, we take such delight in the little signs and wonders. We say, oh, look, I manifested a car parking spot. Oh, look, I was thinking about a red Ferrari and then one just drove by. Oh, look, everything is energy and I'm attracting and magnetizing the things I think I want. And then we make the mistake very often of thinking that this magic wand game is the sign of sovereignty. And we get into our heads that the concept of sovereignty is equal to independence, and that we can independently design and manifest the great vineyards of our lives with our little brains and our very minimal view of the marvelous gardens already growing all over the countryside. And we think that being a co-creator means that I get to use my vision boards to architect anything I want, and God will just get in line with my vision and totally back me up. But that's back to front, I'm afraid. My oldest daughter, Olivia, is 12 years old. She is sovereign. She is as authentic as can be for a young one. And she's very often mistaken for being older because she holds this deep maturity and presence of self that she has become in her extraordinary life. She's been through a lot. She was homeschooled for 3 years while we were homeless, living in a derelict barn where we washed our hair in the creek whenever it rained. She lived off-grid in a tent in the desert for 60 days and learned the value of every drop of water we carried from the stream to boil over the fire to wash our dishes. She helped to terraform the land on which we pitched our tent, and she knows what it's like to use your bare hands to carve out a place to sleep. She knows what it's like knowing how to start a great fire to smoke out the bugs of the kitchen tent so it's possible to cook without flies buzzing in your nostrils and your ears. She started a number of different businesses, including mango jam making for the neighbors and selling candy at school in exchange for the wicked cool iPad she got at the end of last year. She's traveled the world multiple times and she's won an award for Best Playwright, a play called Kyle the Unicorn and the Stupid Little Kids. They played it at Florida Studio Theatre. And she's acing her grades and she's learning how to navigate the emotions of friendship betrayal. She has earned her stripes for sure. But even though she is mature beyond her years, I still don't quite trust her to make all her own decisions when it comes to, for example, nutrition or personal safety after dark or keeping her room clean and tidy. And as incredible as my 12-year-old daughter is, and she knows she is, I love her too much to give her all the freedom to create her own experience. I will keep a lot of control for the time being over what she eats, where she goes, and when she needs to tidy her room. And she may look around at her peers and say, but mummy, Reagan's allowed to have pancakes and syrup for breakfast every day. Ashlyn's allowed to go to the mall with her boyfriend. Different people, different rules. Apples and oranges, totally irrelevant. You are a badass. You are incredible. You are sovereign. And you are not full of blockages and limiting beliefs and unhealed wounds. Jesus has taken all of that away for you. Like my daughter Olivia, you are sovereign and you are doing very well. And if you're looking out over your peers and going, how come they can manifest $1 million business using this particular structure? How come they have a marriage or children or devoted followers? And I've been trying and trying. Like with my daughter Olivia, if it's not manifesting for you, then it isn't the best thing for you right now. Relax. It is coming. This is the Song of Solomon. This is one of my favorite bits. Come, my beloved, let us go into the countryside. Let us spend the night in the village. Let us go early to the vineyards to see if the vines have budded, to see if their blossoms have opened, and if the pomegranates are in bloom. There I will give you my love. The mandrakes send out their fragrance, and at our door is every delicacy, both new and old, that I have stored up for you, my beloved. It's fun to try and think of allowing the expansion of your territory, your products, your services, your businesses, your organizations, your models, your frameworks, your methodologies, your philosophies, your works of art. It's fun to think of the expansion of these manifesting through you, but not by you. Your job as the mouthpiece, as the man or woman on the ground, as the hands or feet in the field, your job as a co-creator is to engage with what's emerging. Perhaps he will put on your heart to learn a new song. Perhaps he'll take you across a new dreamscape in the nighttime. Perhaps he'll show you new combinations of spices that are already waiting in your spice rack. Perhaps he'll open your ears to new sounds and harmonies in your garden that you've never heard before. Perhaps he'll prune away another silly habit. Here's the thing. If you believe in God and you trust that you are chosen for this vision he has formulated within you, then when life opens, this next flow of expansion, you will let go of the control and you will allow yourself to be opened by Jesus Christ. These are his words. I am the true vine. I am the true vine. And my Father is the vine dresser. Every branch in me that does not bear fruit, he takes away, and every branch in me that does bear fruit, he prunes, that it may bear more fruit. And already you are clean because of the word that I have spoken to you. Abide in me, and I in you. As the branch cannot bear fruit by itself unless it abides in the vine, neither can you unless you abide in me. I am the vine, you are the branches. Whoever abides in me and I in him, he it is that bears much fruit, for apart from me, you can do nothing. He is the vine. And for the purpose of my next metaphor, you are a grape. And you say, I hold within me the seed potential of great and glorious vineyards that will one day stretch across the hills and vales as far as the eye can see and make the finest wine in the land. What you don't do is go and try to earn the money to buy 100 acres for your vineyards and a ton of timber and concrete to build the vast wine pressing factories. I tried. Yes, it is indeed true that all the vineyards in the universe are contained in the DNA, in the seed inside your juicy grape belly. But if you now separate yourself from the vine to attempt to create this vast vision that is not in its season, you will fall to the ground, little grape. You will be trodden on by a goat. You will be eaten by a turtle dove, and then you will be shat out again somewhere over a rocky canyon where your seeds may sprout for a little while, but they will be competing with the weeds of the wild and quickly strangled. It's a dramatic end. I've tried again and again to separate myself from the vine, and I am so grateful for the grace that grafts me back into the vine every single time. And maybe it sounds melodramatic, but that's just what it's like beyond the borders of the Garden of Eden. That's just what it's like when you bite that apple with your whole soul so you can be like a god out there in the world where reality is a cosmic energy field of zillions of shifting thought forms you're not in control of. Stay in the vine. Let the vine dresser show you the expansion as you will, like my daughter Olivia, mature into greater and greater wisdom and love and ability to manifest new territories and new structures as you go along. You don't yet need to buy 100 acres and a ton of concrete to build the wine pressing factories for your empire of vineyards. All you need now is a little stick of bamboo and a nice bit of twine to hold your seedling against the winds. The vision that you have from God, the word in your heart, the rhema that he whispers so tenderly to you, that great empire of luscious vineyards and the finest wedding wine, it is true for you. It is becoming. Stay in the vine. Slow down. My husband Matt and I made galactic mistakes in our attempt at taking those acres by conquest. It was our hubris. It was our inflated sense of personal responsibility for choosing what we want to manifest. It was our belief that sovereignty meant independence from the body of Christ. It was that which led us to make terrible business decisions and lose everything we had, everything, until we lived with our little children in a derelict barn on a literal trash heap with no car, no money, and no way out. We did that. Little grapes setting off to build 100-acre vineyard, very quickly trodden on by a goat, eaten by a pigeon, and shat out again over the rocky canyons. That was us that did that, dematerializing through the choices that we made and the subtle defiance against our higher judgment. It was us not respecting the wild landscape between where we were as little grapes and the vast acres that we were trying to conquer to make the wine that we were becoming anyway. We did that. What God did at every step was to send in the ravens, the friends like Deanna who let us use her shower, or Reverend Nancy who gave us a plot to grow vegetables on and a car to drive, or Brandy, the earthen priestess, and her man Nico who taught us the way of slow magic, the way of the land. And it was the grace of God that turned the devastation into an extraordinary discovery of truly sustainable living and abundance that follows no worldly rule. It was the loving and sovereign hand of God that would let me take a tumble now and then and scrape my knees so I discover the limitations of my capability and yet always be there to pick me up. Matt and I were grafted back into the vine with minimal damage thanks to the mystery of deliverance. And now our financial recovery is well underway as our maturing wisdom brings an increasing capacity for joy in any circumstance. Converting that joy into greater and greater wealth. We have a predictable income now. We have property. We have assets and investments that are slowly growing, and we are free. Even now, we have come so far since those days in the wild. Even now, we are still just grapes. And I have a sense of a much greater plan for us. I have a vision of much greater impact, and I must not separate myself from the vine to go and make it happen. The best way to know what my next responsibility is when it comes to manifesting new territories and opening new resources in my life, the best way I found to know is to ask, what is it? What is it? This is a little meditation on mana, that mysterious substance, the crystalline grains of sand that become exactly what you need when you need them. The word mana means, what is it? And your words are the breath of wind that moves the sand particles in the undulating desert. So when you ask with your heart, what is it? The substance moves to reveal what it is. It says in Romans chapter 1, verse 20, for all his invisible attributes, his eternal power and divine nature, the will and way of God have ever since creation of the world been clearly seen in the things that have been made. Oh, what is it? Not what do I think I want? What is it? When Matt and I and our two daughters, Olivia and Penelope, aged 9 and 3, had 1 week to leave our temporary housing, and we had nothing and nowhere, can you imagine a more vulnerable state? We did the great audit in the Heroes Protocol from last week's episode. By the way, type in a heart into the comments wherever you are, and I will bring you the link to that video. We did the great audit, and we asked, what is it that is actually most important to us now? What is it that we actually have? What is the next step available? In the vine, you see, growth always happens from within, through what is. You look at a vineyard, you've never seen grapes manifest before the vine manifests. It always comes in an organic, unfolding way. Like the Lord said it to Habakkuk in chapter 2, verses 2 to 3, write it all down, lay it all out, and simplify it. What is it? What is this? It's simple. We laid it all out. We said, we have all these tins of beans. Do you remember, Matt? We had inventories of every can of food we had, everything, all the tools we had, pencils, pencil sharpeners, everything laid out. Who do we know? Who are our friends? Who are our connections? And suddenly, as we laid it all out and we saw, what is it? Suddenly new connections happened within what was already there. My husband is a parkour coach, so he has big muscles that he can use to help those landowners build a bathhouse made of cob in exchange for using their land to camp on. All of a sudden, that off-grid vision that we had years ago has just become. All those years ago, when we thought that to manifest the sustainable off-grid experience, we had to make a load of money to buy the acres of land and construct it all from scratch, and all of a sudden it's here. And my next step is simply to see if I can find a canvas tent. Inside the life that you are leading now is the vision you once were manifesting. What is it? True growth is happening from there. That's the joint that the vine is growing from. Now, you can get very good at this. This is a craft called interpretative phenomenological analysis. I'll say it again without stumbling this time. Interpretative phenomenological analysis. You can get very good at unwrapping the links between consciousness, energy, and form, logos, rhema, and graphos, to see a perfect landscape of what is it. And if you want to know more, I can teach you. Find me. All these years later, financial recovery well on its way, my question is still the same. What is it? That is, what is the thing that is? What is here now? What is flourishing? What is the vine dresser pruning away? What is my next step? And like my daughter Olivia discovers as she grows, now you may go with your class to the state finals in Orlando and experience a thespian tournament. Now you may go with your church group for a week's camping with the Spirit in the woods. Now you take the step in front of you. We aren't designed to stay small. It only helps to think of ourselves as children because it keeps us in humility and it keeps us in respect for the natural limitations of our capability. But we are growing up into Christ in our maturity and wise discernment of what is, and it unlocks new levels of experience and growth, new territories, and new resources. This is Ephesians chapter 4, verses 13 to 16. Until we all attain to the unity of the faith and of the knowledge of the Son of God, to mature spiritually to the measure of the stature of the fullness of Christ, so that we may then no longer be children, tossed to and fro by the waves and carried about by every wind of doctrine and human cunning, by craftiness and deceitful schemes. But rather, speaking the truth in love, we are to grow up in every way into him who is the head, into Christ, from whom the whole body is joined and held together by every joint with which it is equipped, the connection point. And when each part is working properly, it makes the whole body grow so that it builds itself up in love. Here is your magic spell for the week. This is an affirmation that binds you energetically to the momentum of expansion flowing from source through the intercessor that adapts the energy to who you are and what you need, so it manifests in the most appropriate and graceful way for you and your community. Type this in. I am in the vine. What is it? Thank you. Thank you for typing that in. Matthew is in the vine. Sava's in the vine. Jessie's in the vine. Charlotta's in the vine. Christy's in the vine. Bam! We are in the vine. Skyra's in the vine. I am in the vine. What is it? Thank you very much for joining today. This has been a vibrational treatment of a study on the relationship between faith and action. If you would like to study more with us in the Oasis, we are a group of good people who live simple and sovereign lives. And we spend time together each week to study these ways, to practice the energy work, to analyze the scriptures, and to hold each other in the vine as we grow together. And if you'd like to join us, you are very welcome. Place a little heart emoji and I will come and get you and bring you in. So your prayer for the week, I am in the vine. What is it? You will see the next step for you to take to manifest new territories and new resources as you expand organically. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.